and the skills that you're supposed to have to kickstart the whole process. You can only invest in an activity or in a business venture that you know something about, which means you need to have at least the basic knowledge and skills of how a typical business runs. So I think that is one of the most important things that one needs to have before starting the entrepreneurial process, because at the end of the day, you can only invest in something that you know. Meaning the first step for you as an entrepreneur is getting to know the how. How are businesses usually done? So knowledge is the most important thing that one needs to have before anything else.
Thank you, Mercy, for joining us. We are just laying the foundations for tonight's discussion as we're waiting for our guest speaker, Mr. Peter Kamau. Yes. Now, we are discussing on what's the key foundations that one needs to lay in a business. Mr. Bruce has talked of the knowledge. The knowledge is very essential, because you cannot produce a service or a product that you yourself you don't know how to. You cannot produce a service or a product that you're not familiar with. Tuseme kama for example, kama kina Mark Zuckerberg, they invented those websites because how wenyewe walikuwa wanajua how to code. They had the basic knowledge of coding, na ndio maana wako penye wako sahi. Another good example is maybe tuseme somebody who has kama Mr. Peter Kamau akona an insurance agency. He has an insurance agency since he has been, or he was working for Sanlam, Britam, Pan-Africa Insurance as they are one of the leading managers. Ndio maana pia mwenyewe saizi anaweza kulead ama saizi he founded an agency called the Intendai Insurance Agency. So you cannot, that's a very key thing, you cannot start a business if you don't know the basic knowledge about the product or your service you'll be offering. Yes, another key thing that I'm sure Mr. Kamau will help us in this is that one of the key things that one needs to understand is that the way you think as an entrepreneur should be totally different from how an employee thinks. It's very, very key. Your kind of should be totally different, because as an entrepreneur, for you thrive by offering service. In short, you thrive by serving others. That means mahali pa security and all that, eka kando. It's very key, because sometimes as entrepreneurs watu tunajipata si wenyewe hata tunaenda tunalala njaa, but for our employees to shawalipa. That's a very key thing. As an entrepreneur, you must have that kind of mindset that in this in your business is just it's a money game. So uki lose, well and good. Uki win, still well and good. So you must understand that hakuna security when you're having your business. Another thing that you're supposed to understand as an entrepreneur is that you need to understand investments and the kind of investments that you're supposed to be making, and also you're supposed to invest according to the timings. For example, saizi the best time to invest in technology ni sahi. Why? Because saizi kila kitu inaanza kuturn. Saizi is the best time to invest in AI, in robots, because they are the next big things. Ama saizi ndio the big things in the current economy. Ndio maana saizi you're supposed to invest in them. In short, make sure that you understand the timings. Saizi ukiinvest, I'm sorry if kama nita contradict mtu, but kama saizi if we invest in agriculture kidogo kwa sababu kidogo as of the moment vitu zenye zitakuja ziserve agriculture ni vitu tu za AI, because saizi baka wameanza kufikiria vile watatengeneza inaitwaje machines zenye zitasaidia farming, na zote zitakuwa AI generated, ama zote zitakuwa ni kama yes, they'll be AI, like the way they'll be functioning, zitakuwa tu AI tu ndo zitakuwa zinazioperate. Another thing that you're supposed to have as an entrepreneur as you start is get to have a mentor and a coach. It helps a lot. A mentor is somebody who will guide you, somebody who will be there. In short, atakuwa kama an eagle kwa watu wenye walikuwa jana tukiongelea about the eagle. Just a briefing. An eagle huwa anaangalia juu, then anaweza calculate venye ataweza kupick up maybe the thing that the eagle is hunting. So ikiwa juu inaweza kuangalia vizuri sana na itaweza kuassess ground vizuri sana. That's how a mentor should be. Anafaa kuwa huko juu, that means anafaa kuwa na a higher level, ni mtu mwenye anafaa kuwa na more skills, maybe amekuwa in entrepreneurship for a longer period, akona bigger business than yours. This is somebody that you can look up to, na anaweza angalia business yako akiwa huko juu, na anaweza calculate the risk, anaweza ona vitu zenye mnafanya, na anaweza kuambia hapana, do this, do that. That's the best person. For a coach is somebody who will walk with you. Naona kama venye kuna a gym coach anaensure that the kind of exercise that you're supposed to do in a specific day, ama your target and you may set ukiingia kwa hiyo gym, they are met. That's the work of a coach. A coach is very essential, and so many people hawajui hii as entrepreneurs. It's one of the key things. Na ukiangalia hata the difference between the people who have coaches na wenye hawana, oh my god, it's so like kuna a huge distinction, na so many people don't know this. Get to have a mentor, get to have a coach. Another thing is make sure that you understand the components of your business, or get to understand the different components that make up your business. Get to understand. No ujue kuwa an engineering maybe field na maybe a humanity field, they are different. Kama wewe ni mtu mwenye unataka kuwa inaitwaje, a film producer, the components of your business, they'll be totally different from somebody who wants to dive into having a marketing agency. Those are two different businesses. Mtu mwenye anataka kuanza a robotics kind of business ako so different na mtu mwenye maybe anataka ku offer HR consultancy. Get to understand your business. Make sure you understand your business. It's very very essential. Another thing yenye watu wengi huwa wanatorokea, and kidogo ndasema I've been a victim of this kidogo, but at the same time nilikuja kulearn. Make sure that you keep your job even as you start your business. Why? The small cash that you'll be getting, what are your expenses? When you huwezi expect so much from your child akiwa mtoto, the same way don't expect anything from your business. Venye hauwezi itisha mtoto wako pesa akiwa 1 year, usiitishe business yako pesa ikiwa 1 year. Yesterday we talked of the 900 days of a business, and tulisema for you to ensure that your business is stable, na for you to at least sasa uweze kusema as of now business yangu inaweza simama, now I can do other things, or now I can start reaping my work from my business. Like I can start reaping my sweat, venye watu nasema nizaanza kukulia jasho yako. Like the only time that you'll get to reap what you've sowed in your business is after 900 days in the business. 900 days approximately, that's 3 years. Give your business to run on itself without you gaining the profits, and wewe mwenyewe unafaa kugain a percentage in form of dividends. That's the only time you're supposed to join. Naona Mr. Peter to join. Thank you. Karibu sir. Yes. So that's basically what you're supposed to know. Get to keep your job. Wacha your job iweze kufacilitate your expenses as you're working on your business. This is a key thing. Don't expect anything from your business as you're starting. It's just a startup. It's just an idea. So make sure that you give it time to grow. Now, since Mr. Peter Waweru, Mr. Peter Kamau ametujoin. Now, Mr. Peter Kamau, we are discussing on the key foundation for one to set as they are designing their business. Maybe you can share a few tips.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you begin to start a business, first and foremost, you always ask yourself, what do I want to do? What is my, what do I want to do? And what is the needed by my customers? Because you cannot just start a business without having the customers in mind. Let's take an example. If you have in mind a business to start selling a boutique, for example, and in your sale of the boutique, you are your business is located in Turkana County, where it is very hot, and then you go and you buy the heavy jackets, the heavy sweaters, and you go start selling there. Are you going to make any headway?
No.
So you have to think first and foremost what to sell, who to sell to, or what service, where are you going to give that service, and to whom. So it's of great importance to know the location of where to build, have your business, and the targeted customers before you initiate any business.
Wow. Now, Mr. Peter, you've mentioned getting to understand your customers. Now, hapo penye umesema your target customers. How do you get to understand your target customers? Yet this is maybe just an idea or something that you've seen maybe your parents or your family doing and now you want to venture into. How do you get to understand your target audience?
There is what you do, there is what is called business intelligence. You must first carry out a business intelligence. You do a research so that you know the kind of customers whom you are targeting. It's of great importance to always do a business research to understand who are your customers and what are their needs. It's very important. That now will be able now to give you what do they require, what do they use, what are services do they require, what are their purchasing power, so that you don't go to an area where people have a greater desire but without the demand. What do I mean? The desire is the need to buy something, but you don't have the financial ability to buy. Whereas demand is the need for something, for a good or a service, but you have the financial ability to purchase it.
Amazing. So hope you may get to understand that one of the key components ni get to understand your customer. So apart from the customer, Mr. Peter, what else do you think we are supposed to understand in a business? In short, what are the different components that make up a business?
For you to start up a business, we always look at it from two angles. We look at what are the internal, we normally call it the business environment. We have the internal environment and the external environment. The internal environment is what abilities do you have, what capital do you have, what services do you want to offer, who are you going to work with. That is within your control. That's what you call the internal environment of your business. Then we have the external environment. The external environment, and now here is about the customers whom you're going to deal with. Here you're going to talk about your suppliers. Here's where you're going to talk about the government policies, the government regulations. All those affect where you're going to start your business. So you must put into consideration, one, the internal environment and the external environment. These are the areas that you when you're doing the business research and carrying out business intelligence, those are the areas that you first need to go and study. Let's give an example. If today you decide, I want to go and start a business of selling food, you must ask yourself, what food am I going to sell? Who is going to be my supplier? Because if you start, for example, you want to go and start selling bhajias, those are potatoes. Are the people within that area, do they eat bhajia, or is a new introduction that you're going to introduce? Do they have the financial ability to buy? Who will be supplying you the potatoes throughout the year? So those are some of the factors that you really have to look at. If you want to go and start, for example, an IT business, you want to have maybe your printing, photocopying, typesetting, then you want to go and start that business in an industrial area. These are people, yes, the industry, within an industrial area, people are manufacturing, people are doing all manner of processing. But how much of the demand of your services do they require? Compare that IT business with a person who goes and starts that IT business in an institution, maybe next to a university, maybe to a learning institution. The two people, they have the same ideology, but the external environment are totally different. One was put it in the industry area, and the other one was put it in an educational institution. Both of them have the same idea. They have the ability. They have the same capital. They may have even very good people to work with, but the environment in which they have started their business will affect now the growth and the success of their businesses.
Wow. Mr. Peter, you've mentioned something on suppliers. What are the key considerations someone should put in place to identify the right suppliers for their businesses? Ama ni vitu gani zenye mtu anaweza ona aseme, hapa huyu supplier kidogo anaweza ni mess up kidogo. What are the key considerations?
You need to look at the quality of the product the person is supplying. You also need to look at the other than the quality, you look at the standards of the supply that he has, and you also look at his business to see whether he is able to supply you throughout the year. Because the customers will require your services maybe throughout the year. So he must be a reliable person, a person of good reputation. Because remember, it is that product that you're selling to your customer that the customer will purchase today and purchase tomorrow and refer another person. If a customer just buys today and never comes back, if he cannot refer anyone to you, then you're doomed from the word go. So you must know the supplier who is supplying to you is supplying quality product, he's reliable, and at the same time, he's a honesty person, so that he doesn't go and provide you with a substandard product.
Wow, that's amazing. Hope you're taking notes. For me, I'm having a notebook and a pen. Hope you're taking notes. You've mentioned something on retaining the customers. How do you think someone can retain the customer apart from just having a good product? How else can you retain a customer?
A customer is maintained by, we may put it by the customer service. What kind of a service are you offering to that customer? Do you make that customer to feel that he is worth? Remember, that customer is your employer. If that customer doesn't come and purchase your services or your goods, then your business is as good as dead. So that person is of great importance. So the services, how you treat that customer, how you package your product is of great importance. So you must ensure that you have the right product, you package the product well, you give it the best price that is supposed to be there, ensuring that your markup will sustain your business. There's no need of having a product. You sell it at a low price so that you may appease the customers, and then you run out of business. You must be making good profit from your services. Number two, you must employ the right people to be at your workplace, so that these good right people are able to interact well and offer the best services to your customers.
Wow. You've mentioned something of employing the right people to your business. Since I'm assuming all of us here, we are the business owners, how can you delegate the duties? How can you actually ensure that you are employing the right people? And maybe to assume too, you have this big business, your business is scaling so fast. How do you employ the right people? And how do you delegate duties? 2 questions.
How you employ the right people is by having somebody who is knowledgeable in what you call the human resource knowledge, so that you employ the people with the right skills, right attitude, and then you train them to have the ideology and the culture of your organization. I repeat that. You outsource people with the right skills. I want somebody to do IT. I get somebody who is trained in IT. I need somebody to work in the accounting department. I get a person who has done accounting, not finance. I need a person to work in my pharmacy. I get somebody who is a pharmacy technologist, not somebody who was trained as a clinical officer, not as a nurse. Because these people are different. So you get the right people with the right skills. Then you offer them the right job. And that right job, you also give them, you commensurate with the right compensation, that is the payment. You have what you call proper work-life balance, so that you don't overwork your people, you don't underemploy your people, or overemploy them. Underemployment is whereby somebody is so skilled academically, but the kind of work that you're giving is below. Or overemployment is whereby somebody doesn't have all the skills that are required, then you demand more from that person. At the end of the day, you demotivate these people, and after demotivating them, their productivity will go down, and the organization will not achieve what is required. So you must have the right people with the right skills. Then for the attitude, you train them so that they feel motivated. And not only being motivated, you remember that employees are an important, integral part of the success of your business. What is the second question?
How do you delegate duties?
Delegation of duties comes through what you call the job description. Job description is whereby it outlines the responsibilities and the expectation of each and every employee. And that job description is based on the skills that the employees were employed with. So you get, this person has these skills, Then you write the right job description so that it matches with the skills that they have. That is how you delegate duty. You are now delegating the powers that you have as an employer or as a business owner for others to go and perform on your behalf.
Amazing. Hapo bado tu kwa delegating of duties. The reason why I'm asking this is kuna this ideology that business people have that so that you may as much as possible upunguze your expenses. Ukia employ someone, you try as much as possible uwape kazi mingi ati they can do so much ndio hauleti mtu mwingine kufanya the same thing. Do you think that's a good strategy ama it will mess up someone's business?
If today you employ somebody and you overwork them, remember this is not a machine. This is a human being. He has what you call the elasticity, how much he can stretch. And if he overstretches, then he doesn't have what you call in labor relations, the work-life balance, such that he has a number of hours to work, a number of hours to go and rest. So that person will come back to work the following day, is already exhausted. And an exhausted person is not going to be productive to you. So that is why we say, let the person do to their maximum. But we always state this, a motivated staff would produce more. So how do you motivate your staff? It's not giving them more duty. One, appreciating them, ensuring that they have a proper work-life balance. You remunerate them very well. You ensure that these people, their welfare are well taken care of. Is the environment where they are working conducive? Is it spacious? Is it well ventilated? Do they have the proper amenities? A good sitting place where the person is working from? Is a place well lit? Does that person have some quality amount of water that he can be able to drink? Are we together? So that now encompasses what we refer to as the employee welfare. But if you overwork them expecting that you're going to get more production, it is counterproductive. Because if they are not well motivated, if they are not well taken care of, then not being taken care of, you're giving them more, but at the end of the day, you have less production.
Hapo bado tu kwa employment na delegating of duties. Since kidogo inaweza kuwa a bit expensive to maintain these employees, do you think it's, according to you, Mr. Peter, will you prefer working with someone is a fully employed employee, or somebody who is just a freelancer?
A fully employed person has the loyalty. And loyalty is key to a business. If you have a freelancer, that person is not loyal to you, not loyal to the organization, not loyal to the brand, and therefore even to the customers. The service that you offer is not commensurate with what as an employer you require. But when you employ somebody, one, you're giving this person, for example, a proper medical care. You're giving this person enough rest for that person to rest. You are remunerating very well. You have organized for them a pension plan, so that you're already starting a pension plan in the long run. You are training and developing the skills of this person. At the end of the day, you always get better production. So permanent employment gives job security. Job security gives motivation to these people. Give them a sense of belonging. That they are able now to go and perform and fulfill their basic needs. Because I'm employed, I know I'll pay for my rent. I'll get my food. I'll get my clothing. My children will go to school. Due to those needs that are behind, following that person, we may stick and the carrot. The purpose of the people wake up every morning, go to work. See, it's not like that work. It's not that they must work. But the carrot ahead of them, I have A, B, C, D that I must fulfill. Therefore, they end up working even harder because losing that, whatever they have, if they lose the carrot that they are looking for, then at the end of the day, what's going to happen? Their basic needs are not going to be met. So having a permanent person in an organization is more profitable because even the time that you're using to train somebody is much less. A freelance today will come, tomorrow is out there. And in employment world, we say a high turnover in an organization. When you lose one employee, you don't just lose that John, that Jane, but you also lose a lot of business intelligence, a lot of business secrecy that should not be there with every other person. And you find majority of the people who leave an organization, they go there and give the information about you to your competitor. So which devil would you wish to have? A person who will remain with you, is loyal, and does not give the business secrecy and intelligence, or a person who is not tied to you, and therefore can discuss anything to do with you and sabotage your business. All to you.
Wow. Umemention kitu hapo about somebody who is loyal. Now, says there's this debate on whether someone should employ a person who has more experience ama a fresh graduate mwenye atakuwa loyal to you for a long period. What do you think? Because saizi watu tunasema au watu wenye tunasema you must have 10 years experience, kidogo inafungia watu wengine nje, na pia kidogo ndio huwa inafanya business zisi grow since hakuna fresh minds and all this. What do you think, Mr. Peter Kamau? Should we employ people who have more experience na wamekuwa so loyal to other people and they can always move from this business to the other, or pick up a fresh graduate na ize endelee na that graduate amfunze venye umesema kumtrain, since for them venye tunasemanga mkunje samaki angali mbichi? Do you think that's a good idea?
In the labor market, this is what we call the graduate trainees. Graduate trainees is whereby organizations that have proper succession policy as one of the policies in employment, they get young graduates within the university. Then they do what you call gap filling. They fill the gap between what people are being trained in class and what is being practiced. Remember, the world is moving at a very high rate. Majority of what maybe is being learned today in schools, in almost all our universities, is obsolete. And by the time you are graduating, what you learned in first year and what you learned in fourth year is no longer being used in the real world. Let's take, for example, the medicine people, the students in faculty of medicine. The drug that was being used in the year 2020, by the time that person is graduating in 2024, is no longer used. It's already obsolete. The technology that was being used in, for example, the mobile phones in 2020 is already not being used in 2024 by the time that person is graduating. So what happens? There is the need to have the making up of the filling of the gap between what is being trained in school and the real world. And that is why we normally have what we call the internship. If a student would take the internship seriously and get not just go to any organization for internship, but a serious organization for internship, you realize that with a proper collaboration between learning institutions and the industries or the employers, then they are able to get the right employees. You have asked a very good question. As an employer, should I take a fresh graduate or should I take somebody who has been working? And the aspect of loyalty, this is what we call a catch-22 scenario. You're not very sure. If I take this person and train him a fresh graduate, after 2, 3, 4 years, he runs and shifts to go to another organization. It's a loss to you. If again you poach that person from another organization, what guarantee do you have that tomorrow he's not going to be poached by the next person? So it's a catch-22 scenario.
Wow. Hapo bado tu venye umesema catch-22 scenario. So what do you do in that scenario? How can you as a business owner, what would you settle for, or how will you advise someone to settle for?
It's a big topic where we say you become an employer of choice. An employer of choice is where you give better employee welfare services, more over and above the others. The organization that take care of, you have been employed today, yes. So because you have employed you today, we are going to help you settle. And then after you have settled, there is what they call, we are going to take you for training. And before we take you for training, we must have a what we call a tied up, there's a term that we normally use, whereby after the training, you must be attached to this organization for the next 3 or 4 years. And you cannot leave. So to Operaka College, we take you for further studies, for in-service training, but you must be within this organization for how many years? 3, 4, 5 years. So the catch-22 is this investment that I'm doing in capacity building of this employee. It's an investment that you're doing. Are we going to reap the benefit from the same that the person? That's why we are talking about the catch-22. We have invested, we have educated this person, we have trained him and developed him. But is he going to remain with us? And that is why we are talking about bonding. We bind you for a number of years. And even if you want to leave this organization, then you must pay a certain amount to the organization because you've already invested in you. So when you talk about a catch-22, is whereby you say, if we do this, what is going to happen? What if? What are the repercussions that may come up? But how do we mitigate them? The employment organization has always some measures to do that.
Wow. Hapo venye umesema tukiongelea about measures, kindly take us through some of the government policies or some of the legal requirements that one are supposed to meet ndio kidogo asiweze kupatikana the wrong side of the government na vitu zingine zenye mtu anafaa kujua apart from just within ama niseme locally, pia mtu mwenye anataka sasa kuscale internationally. What are the kind of policies one should know?
All that is guided by what you call the labor laws. We have well stipulated the labor laws that stipulate who should be employed, what are the minimum salaries that people are supposed to have, what we call the wages they're supposed to have. Then you also have what we refer to as the OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 2007. Again, it gives all what is required. We have the WIBA, the Work Injury Benefit Act. So there are quite a number of laws that govern how an employee should be treated. At the same time, there are rights and there are rights of the employers, as we have the Association of Kenya Employers. Again, there are laws that govern the rights of the employers on the other side. So it is both sides. The employer are taken care of, and the employees are also well taken care of.
Okay, na kuna hii mali penye inakuja inaongea about taxes. Kindly explain to us, najua sometimes huwa kuna kuanga na inflation and all that. How should one ensure that they've paid their taxes no matter the kind of situation they are in, and how can one actually calculate their taxes asikuje kufuatwa baadaye wakisema hawakulipa tax venye ilikuwa inafaa?
When we talk about taxation, it's a is an area that people go to college and they train on those people who do finance or those people who do accounts. There's an area where now you study about the taxation. The law of taxation, it's there, it's well stipulated. It's not something that we can just discuss in this kind of a forum in 10-20 minutes. The law of taxation is in detail. That is why we say you cannot be a jack of all trades. So in an organization, you either employ an accountant who will do the taxation on your behalf, or you seek the services of what you call a consultant.
Amazing, amazing. Now, since you're talking of building your business, maybe it's a startup business, do you think it's a good idea mtu akianzisha their business achane na kazi?
Two things. What are the sources of your capital? What are the sources of your capital? Are you the person financing your business? Or are you being financed by your relatives? Or are you taking up a loan? Number two, if you are employed, remember, business just like milk, boiling milk. You must put all your eyes on your business at its infancy. So you must be very careful when you're starting your business to give it all your best. But business or entrepreneur is not for the weaklings. So if you're employed and you want to shift slowly by slowly from being employed to an entrepreneur, you must have the skills and have the right people that you're going to entrust so that they can do the business. Meanwhile, if you're being employed, before you shift from being employed to self-employed under the entrepreneur.
Wow, so that means make sure at least kuna mtu mwenye ana keep track of your business. Now, kuna something you've mentioned on the sources of your capital. Tukiongelea kidogo on loans, will you advise someone to take up a loan, and what are the measures one should put? Na mtu akienda kwa maybe kwa bank to seek for that loan, what are the kind of things, some are the kind of documentation one is supposed to have as they are going to seek the loans?
First and foremost, financial institutions do not finance startup business. They finance ongoing businesses. So no one will ever, any financial institution that I want to start a business and therefore you go and borrow a loan, forget about that. They will never do that. Okay? So there are two ways of how to get loans. One, you can get a loan through the bank, and the bank you must have what you call the collateral. Collateral is what are you going to give as a surety for the loan that you're going to take. Either your title deed, or your logbook, or your payslip. So you must have a collateral that you're going to use for you to get a loan. The other way how you can get a loan is to join a SACCO, whereby you join a SACCO, you save for a number of months or number of years, then your fellow members within the cooperative, within the SACCO, they guarantee you for a loan that you need. So those are the two sources. You either take a bank loan and they don't finance a startup business, you must have a collateral for you to get a loan, or you join a SACCO and then you get a loan that you can have for your business.
Amazing. You've talked of SACCOs. As an entrepreneur, which are some of these SACCOs that you will advise someone to join as a young entrepreneur or somebody who is aspiring to be an entrepreneur?
SACCOs are based on the profession. Most of the SACCOs or the SACCO movement in this country, Kenya, they are based on the profession. You go to Mwalimu SACCO, it's for the teachers. You go to Harambee SACCO, This one is for the security personnel. Although nowadays I've seen they have started another one called the police circle. Again, that one is for security people. You go for people who work in electricity, they have this steamer circle. Okay. You go to people in tea farming, they have their own circle. So every circle, or most of the circle in this country, are dependent on the profession in which you are in. But even in these circles, they have opened what you call Class B members. Class B members are non-professionals of the profession. For example, the steamer circle, you can join and you are not a person working in the Kenya Power or Kengen, but you can join. You are not a teacher, but you can join some circles such as Boresha, Cosmo. You can join Tower Circle in Nyandarua. As a non-teacher, the challenge comes in here when you need a guarantor to guarantee you for the loan. Because Tower Circle is mainly for the teachers, so they will guarantee each other. You as a person who is not a teacher, where are you going to get a guarantors to guarantee you when you need a loan? So those are the challenges that you get when it comes to the circle. They are professional based. And even if they have opened up for the Class B members, but when it comes now to taking up the loan, who are going to be your guarantors?
Wow, the guarantors. Now, I like to ask this question on behalf of other people. Maybe they haven't gotten that employment. Now, since they haven't gotten that employment, maybe hata tuache kusema mambo ya employment, these circles, can they finance ama can they allow maybe a student who is in campus aweze kujoin the circle? Is it possible? Maybe a fresh inaitwaje, a first year, second year, third year, fourth year, na kama ziko, kindly tuambie ni gani?
Some of the circles that you can join, as I said, they are professionals. If your father is a teacher, for example, you can easily join as a Class B member, what they call the co-opted member, and these you join as a son or a daughter of already a professional. You can join. One of the condition of every circle is that you must be having what you call monthly contribution. Now, as a student, what is your source of income that you're going to produce every month? That becomes now the challenge. Where will I be getting the source of the investment of every end of the month? Now, if I'm in the media, if we look very keenly, there must be, for example, in the media, there's a professional for the media people. If you are doing maybe accounts or in finance, there must be a circle somewhere that it is dealing with those people. So you can start off and join the circle depending on either you want to be a corporate member. Remember, when you join a circle, there are two things that happen. One, in a circle, there is what we call the core capital. These are shares. They are non-withdrawable, and you can only transfer them from one member to the other. Now, if you take, for example, a circle like Mwalimu Circle, the core capital should be a saving of 30,000. 30,000, even if you withdraw from that membership of Mwalimu Circle, you will never get that 30,000, but you can now transfer because that is your ownership of the circle. Then there is what you call the deposits. Deposits is the amount of money that you can do over and above the core capital. If, for example, you join Mwalimu Circle today and you have deposited, or you have a total for that amount there being 40,000. The 40,000, 30,000 will be the core capital, then 10,000 will be a deposit. It is only that 10,000 that can help you when you want to take a loan. Are you getting?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of knowledge that we need. Maybe one of these 5 days you can have a day when we can discuss what are circles, what are the basics of the circles, how do circles operate, how can I join a circle, and how can I gain or benefit from being a member of the circle.
Amazing. That's hiyo lazima discuss one of these fine days. Hiyo lazima. Now, if there's something you've mentioned tukimalizia, kuwa a business person is hafai kuwa faint-hearted. Now, what are some of the characteristics that some of the features that a business person should have as they are venturing into a business?
One, we always say that the world does not reward intelligence, but it rewards action. So you must be intelligent, you must be knowledgeable, but your business will not succeed depending on the knowledge that you have, but the actions that you take. The actions, one is you must be resilient, you must be persistent, you must be disciplined, you must have good customer relations for you to succeed in your business. If you don't have those 4 or 5 qualities, be assured that your business will not run beyond the first cycle or the first phase. If you're not disciplined, if you're not focused, if you're not resilient, if you don't have good customer relation or proper communication, then you're not going to be successful. You must also have the budgeting, so that you come up with a proper budgeting, and within this budgeting is all that is going to give you what your business strategies. Where you start thinking of yourself, where do I need to be within the next 5 years? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Those are your strategies. Then you break them and say, for me to be able to reach this within 5 years, what must I achieve in the first 1 week, in the first 100 days, in the first 6 months, in the first 1 year, so that I have what we call measurable strategies that are there. So with those measurable strategies, you'll be able now to move from one phase of the business to the other. Then you must also be sitting down and having the checks and balances to check, these were my goals, have I achieved them? And that is why it's very, very important currently, even if you want to just to be in business, just take a few lessons on what we call monitoring and evaluation. It's a very nice course. Very few institutions are offering it, but having a monitoring and evaluation background on knowledge will help you to know whether your business is moving in the right direction or not.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Ukimalizia to this, something you've mentioned on monitoring and evaluation. Kindly state some of the examples of universities in they offer this, college in offer this course.
JQAT is offering monitoring and evaluation, but the last time I was there, they're offering it not at the graduate level, but at the master's level. I don't know whether there are universities, unless we do a research, which have started offering it at the lower level. Because you see, monitoring and evaluation, this is for the managers or the people at the managerial levels who want to monitor what has been happening. And then evaluation is to understand, we had put this strategy, this is a project that we wanted to do, how much have we achieved? That is called now the evaluation. How much have we achieved? So it's more of a managerial course, and it requires most of those people who want to be in business. Remember, in business, you are a manager. Because in that business, you must be doing what we call, and this you can note down, what we call the postcode. Postcode starts for you must be planning. You plan what to do. Then you must organize what you want, what you plan, you must organize it. Then you must have who to do the staffing. Then this staffing, you must coordinate them. And after coordinating them, you must direct them. So for each one of them, you must monitor your plan, whether it's running in the right way. And as you monitor, then you evaluate each one of your objective that you have put in the planning, whether it is being achieved. So that is why you say monitoring and evaluation is more in managerial or for those who want to be in management positions.
Amazing, amazing. Wow. Hey, we've learned a lot. Thank you, Mr. Kamau, for your time. Yes, and can't wait to have you in our next session as we continue to discover more on what entrepreneurs are supposed to have or what are the things that they're supposed to know. Yes, hope bado mnaendelea kusoma Before You Quit Your Job. That's an amazing book. It's something that will help us in discovering ourselves more and more. Yes, that's it for today. Thank you very much. I'd like to leave us with a statement that says that being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. Yes, being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you're better than anyone, but what you are doing is that you are creating something of your own. In short, you are creating employment, you're creating a service that people will enjoy. Thank you for your time. See you tomorrow.